I was working at the Hilton Crystal City on 9/11, and I was 1 mile from the Pentagon that day. And it was very, very scary for all of us. And I often say, like, you will never forget the people that you were working with that day, because it was something that in my lifetime had never, ever come to the shores of the United States. And all of a sudden I was a mile from that plane that hit the Pentagon, and people were taking refuge from the airport that closed immediately, obviously, and the Pentagon, and finding their way to our hotel. So I will never forget that day and how I felt. But you and I were chatting about this at BITEC, and you said, growing up, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but if you remember the conversation, you kind of had a comment of, it wasn't like we should have taken 9/11 lightly by any means, but for you, it was probably not as, oh my goodness, what's going on here, as we would have experienced, because of what you had seen and how you had grown up in Israel.
So, like I said, I grew up in a country that unfortunately was very familiar with those kind of attacks. When you go down the street or you go to a club, and then, there's the risk of somebody using themselves as their body as a bomb to kill others. It was unfortunately too frequent for some, and we're used to it. We're just used to, unfortunately, those scenarios. So terrorism and terrorist attacks were obviously very common. You grew up with them, you're familiar with them, you know the behavior. Also in the Army, you learn about some of the culture and the background and how to deal with some of those individuals that you face. But when it becomes part of your life, you don't become immune to it, but you learn to manage it, grieve with it, and then move on, probably in a more rapid way than people who are not familiar with it.